Good morning, I'm Jeanette Millin Young, your senator, your voice, your advocate in the 29th legislature. Pleased to share with you some of my thoughts regarding election reform. The Senate's Government Operations Committee held a meeting this week in which we vetted several bills on the subject. First off, I would like to thank my colleagues on the committee who worked with me, as well as the Supervisor of Elections and Elections Board members, to pass Bill number 29-0305, an act to change the date of primary election to be in compliance with the Military and Overseas Voter Empowerment Act. It has now moved on to the Rules Committee. In essence, the bill changes the date of the primary election to comply with the Military and Overseas Voter Empowerment Act, also known as the MOVE Act, which requires absentee ballots to be transmitted at least 45 days before the general election. However, because our primary elections are held only 6 weeks or so before the general election, there is insufficient time for all ballots, including absentee ballots, to be counted from the primary election and have official general election ballots mailed out by the middle of September. Keep in mind that the general election can fall as early as November 2nd, as it did in 2010. This bill will make the necessary change by moving the primary up to 5 weeks, thus leaving ample time for absentee ballots to be sent to overseas military personnel. We are fond in the legislature of providing real and imagined benefits to our veterans who have put their lives on the line to preserve our democratic freedoms. Approving this measure ensures our military personnel serving outside the territory are able to enjoy the same democratic rights that they are fighting to preserve. Other bills dealt with how senators should be elected, and my philosophy is very simple. I want more, not less accountability. The at-large concept takes the accountability factor out of the process. Of particular interest on Wednesday was Bill number 29-0278, which covers the gamut of paper ballot inclusion, leave for government employees, how many voting machines we should have, and more. What sticks out to me, and I do not agree with, is the provision to have parties pay for and conduct their selection process. On face value, those who scoff at political parties will say, indeed, let them pay for their primaries. The question is, where will that money come from? The VI Supervisor of Elections, John Abramson, under questioning, said there is a distinction between a registered member and a member of a party. To be a member, one must pay dues. Most registered voters in the territory are Democrats. But how many pay dues? It's not a requirement to pay dues. Consequently, the Democratic Party, as the largest party, would be the biggest loser if this bill becomes law. But essentially, all parties, and we have 4 of them in the territory, would lose. Most important, we all stand to lose. We stand to lose because we take out the fundamental element of choice. This would become a mechanism for those who like confusion and for those who want the party system to go away. Personally, I opt for the ability to choose whether to register as a party member or vote as a no-party voter. But I have a choice, and so would you. And that is what is important. Further, when I raised the issues that to have the parties conduct and pay for their process would further erode the relationship between elected officials and the populace that they govern, there was no response. I presented evidence from the National Conference of State Legislatures, which points to states and counties bearing the cost of all statewide primary elections. I shared facts, not fiction. The state of Arkansas, which had party-funded primaries until the mid-1990s when the 8th Circuit Court in the Republican Party of Arkansas versus Faulkner County Election Commission found the Arkansas state law requiring party-funded and conducted primaries to be unconstitutional because the Republican Party of Arkansas, which by the way brought the suit, could only afford polling places in a few locations, thus disenfranchising a large number of voters. Disenfranchising, otherwise taking their right to vote away. My fellow Virgin Islanders, I believe in fairness, I believe in choice, I believe we should not and cannot use the vote to manipulate the process and voters, and I will continue to do all that I can to ensure ensure a fair and honest process for our elections system. I'm Jeanette Millin Young, your senator, your voice, your advocate in the 29th legislature.